what felt like 40 years of wandering, I could finally provide a place in our community to gather and break bread, making our ever-growing city still feel like a small town. At the bakery, we made everything from scratch like our grandmothers had and transformed the front to feel like you were visiting Grandma herself. In the beginning, the bakery was everything I dreamed it could be. After 18 months of unbelievable success, awards, television appearances, and a regular line that wrapped around our 925 square foot building, I made the decision to shut the doors on the bakery because the work and the stress had almost consumed me. I was no longer focused on the mission, breaking bread together and teaching people to fall in love with baking for each other. Now I was just trying to make it through the week, sometimes just getting through the day. I didn't like where we were headed or who I was becoming. So I got off the track that was taking me further and further away from the reason that I had started it in the first place. This cookbook is a collection of baking recipes comprised of family secrets enjoyed regularly at our table. You'll find unearthed treasures from my great-grandmother that would have otherwise been long forgotten, and creations that I'd come up with myself, many of which were lovingly made and served at my bakery. This collection is filled with stories of family, togetherness, and love. Perhaps stories similar to your own. You'll read the secrets to my cinnamon rolls, which were made by the hundreds every morning, my grandma's molasses cookies, which taste like every happy Christmas memory, and even the bread that was made and donated to some of my local churches to be used in the ultimate act of breaking bread, communion. This cookbook is also an invitation to invite you not only to bake this deliciousness for yourself and your own family, but also to bake these cherished recipes for others. Continue the tradition of breaking bread with people in your own communities. By the time this book finds its way to you, I don't know where the state of the world will be. As these recipes and stories have been compiled and written, we're still in the thick of a pandemic that has separated friends from friends and family from family. My hope is that, as the world heals, we remember to come back together and serve one another at our tables. Welcome new neighbors with warmth and sustenance. Create new memories that will someday be triggered by the perfect blend of sugar and butter, and feed one another, hearts, bellies, and souls. The care and eating of bread. Taking care of a loaf of bread seems easy enough. You buy it, bring it home, maybe put it in the pantry, or perhaps even in the refrigerator. Some leave it on the counter, and others store it in the microwave. But what is the right way to store bread? Is there a right way? While store-bought bread and homemade bread are similar, there are surprising differences above and beyond flavor and appearance. Homemade bread has a fraction of the ingredients as store-bought bread, which means that there aren't any hard-to-pronounce preservatives. No preservatives means it's healthier. It also means that it has a much shorter shelf life than anything that you'll find in the bread aisle. Since most homemade breads typically last only a few days sitting out on the counter, there are ways to preserve and store your bread to make it last longer and allow it to stale or dry instead of growing mold. The same cannot be said for moldy bread. No one enjoys discovering a science project when all they want is a sandwich. Storing bread. The best way to store bread is in a brown paper bag kept in a bread box. This allows for your bread to be vented properly so it won't mold. Store your bread box in a cool, dry place. Large appliances like dishwashers and refrigerators radiate heat, which can speed up the molding process and dry out your bread faster. Refrigerating your bread is also a big no-no because it too will dry out bread super quickly. Freezing, on the other hand, is perfectly fine provided the bread is wrapped tightly in a sealed bag. It's best to use the bread within a few months for optimum taste and texture. Thawing bread. Thawing frozen bread is pretty easy if you plan ahead. Take it out of the freezer, unwrap it so the condensation doesn't make for soggy bread, and allow it to come to room temperature. If you're planning on using the entire loaf, you can bake it at 325 for about 30 minutes or until it's warm all the way through. If you're thawing sliced bread for toast, you can simply pop a frozen slice straight into your toaster. Reheating bread. If you've just made a loaf of bread and you'd like to reheat it whole, bake at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it's warm and the crust is crunchy. Give it a little squeeze to hear it crackle. Please, whatever you do not microwave your bread. If you've ever done it, you know that it'll be really soft at first, but then as it cools, it hardens into something.